Hello, how are you? Are you focused? My name's George, this is Visionary Fragrances, and these are 7 fragrances that you can choose to go from designer fragrances into the niche market. Enjoy the video. If you've been collecting designer fragrances for a while and you want to go into the niche market but you're not sure where to start because there are so many choices and there's new fragrances coming out every year, I've taken 7 fragrances from my collection that I think would be a wonderful starting point if you want to go into niche fragrances. Now of course you don't have to buy these all at once, you can just buy one at a time, judging by which one you think you prefer by the descriptions I'm going to give you and when you can wear them. But all of these 7 fragrances will be really good additions to your collection if you're wanting to get into the niche market of fragrances. So we're going to start from number 7, go all the way down to number 1, which will be my favourite. Number 7, the first fragrance we're going to talk about is from a really wonderful brand who make perfect fresh summer fragrances, and they're called Aqua de Palma. This one is my fragrance of choice for you. This is Aqua de Palma Colonia Intensa. You could also go for this one, which is the Colonia Intensa. This is also a really good fragrance to go for if you want to go into the niche fragrances. But this one I think just takes the cake for me. This is a better composition. This is a more interesting fragrance. This opens up with very juicy, fresh, effervescent notes of ginger, fresh lemon and cardamom. Cardamom is going to be a spicy note, but you've got this lovely realistic lemon at the top, which makes this great for summer. Really good if you are going on holiday. Imagine you're on holiday wearing a nice pair of denim shorts, a linen t-shirt, and you spray this on. This is going to smell very good in that setting. You're going to smell very confident and really well put together. This also makes for a really good office fragrance if you're looking for a niche fragrance that you can wear to the office that smells different to designer fragrances and going to really make you stand out. I think this is a great choice. Reason why I love this so much is because I love realistic notes. Aqua de Palma in all of their fragrances do a really good job of using natural ingredients, and as I said, this one smells like a freshly squeezed lemon, so this is beautiful. Number 7, Aqua de Palma Colonia Intensa. Number 6, this is a relatively new brand to me. I've got quite a few of them now in my collection. This is going to be my favourite, although my favourite does change from time to time depending on my mood. This is from Navitus Parfums. This is Exo Brandy. Now I believe this one was made in collaboration with Big Beard Business. I'm not 100%, but I believe this is one of the ones that he helped create. This is a very sweet, semi-gourmand fragrance. This is going to be brandy, obviously it's Exo Brandy. It's going to be brandy, coffee and patchouli. They're the main sort of notes I get. It's also very sweet, so you've got like a kind of sugary note, but so it's going to be very sweet, very boozy, and a semi-gourmand fragrance. So if you like boozy fragrances, like coffee fragrances, this would be a great choice. This is actually really interesting. I've not kind of smelt anything that smells similar to this before. I have to say I do really enjoy coffee fragrances. I've got a few coffee fragrances like Killian Intoxicated, Mancera or Montal Intense Cafe, and I really enjoy them, so I think that's why I like this so much. Performance on the Navitus fragrances is really good generally. This is extrait de parfum concentration, so it's really going to work well, especially in the sort of colder weather, or if you're going on a date. This is going to be fantastic because of those interesting, captivating notes. But I must say, you have to like sweet fragrances to enjoy this because it is very sweet. Because of the note breakdown, the brandy, the coffee, the patchouli, this is very interesting, and I haven't smelled anything exactly like this. I'm going to wear this when I go on date nights, and also when you're going out with the boys or girls, this is going to work really well because it's going to cut through all of the other fragrances that are going to be around. It's very strong, and this will get you a lot of compliments. This is Exo Brandy by Navitus. In at number 5, we're moving on to another very good niche brand for moving into niche fragrances, Parfums de Marly. This is Layton. Now this is one of their, I would say their most popular, this is probably their most popular fragrance actually. Either this or Carlisle are going to be the most popular. Unfortunately, this has been reformulated, and was reformulated very recently, perhaps no more than a year ago. I did a video on the reformulation which I will link down below and you can watch it there. But basically they took away the menthol note that was in the top. Originally Leighton had a really interesting menthol note which added some sort of depth, and it made the fragrance carry a lot more, so it projected a lot more than this one does. But this is still a really good choice for somebody that wants to move into the niche fragrance market. Layton is going to be predominantly a spicy vanilla fragrance. So vanilla is going to be in the base notes. You're going to have cardamom, which is a really nice intoxicating spice, and this has an apple opening, so it's some very interesting notes, and they're going to be fragrance notes that are going to be really appealing to most people. So you're not going to wear this and people are going to be asking in a bad way what you're wearing. This, if anything, will get you a lot of attention because it smells really sexy. And I tell you what, out of all my fragrances, I have about 350 fragrances. When I see my girlfriend, she always asks me to wear this. I always try and get her to enjoy something else. I say, can I wear this? Can I wear this? She always wants me to wear Layton. So I think that's a real indication as to how women perceive Layton. They find it really sexy and they find it very pleasing to be around. So if you're looking to go into the niche fragrance market, not sure where to start, a really good choice will be Layton by Parfums de Marly. Number 4, we're going to stay with Parfums de Marly for this next one. This is going to be another very popular fragrance from them, and it's called Herod. Herod is predominantly a tobacco, vanilla and cinnamon fragrance. They're the main 3 notes that I get. Now, in place of this, I could have chosen Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, which is also a spicy tobacco vanilla fragrance. But I find tobacco vanilla to be a bit more challenging, and it's perhaps not as easy to wear as Herod, especially as you're just going into the niche fragrance market. But as you go further into your journey, Tobacco Vanille is definitely a good one to choose. This is different to Tobacco Vanille in a sense that whilst the notes are similar, the tobacco, the way it's done, is very different in this. This is going to be a lot sweeter, a heavier cherry-like tobacco, whereas in Tobacco Vanille it's a very kind of light, dusty tobacco, whereas this is going to be like a more pipe tobacco. If you think of like a cherry pipe tobacco, it's heavy, it's sweeter and it's denser. That's going to be what you get in Herod. Now, to be honest, this is one of my favourite cold weather fragrances. This really cuts through the cold air well. It's very comforting and it's very enjoyable. I can't imagine many people not liking this, to be honest. It's just such a nice, warming, comforting tobacco vanilla fragrance. Performance is not going to be all that strong. You will get better performance from Tobacco Vanille in terms of projection, but this will sit closer to the skin. I wear this on date nights. I think it works really well on date nights. It brings people closer to you, and it's a really, like I said, a really comforting, warming fragrance. It works really well in those situations. Also, if you're going outdoors somewhere on a summer evening, you could try this. Herod is a really good choice. So this is number 4, Parfums de Marly's Herod. Number 3, this is where Creed Aventus would usually come in, but because of the high price and the fact that it's nowhere near as strong as it used to be, we're going for something else. This is Nishane's Hacivat. I think this is a really good fragrance to put in place of Aventus because this is stronger, it's more interesting, and it will get you noticed more than Aventus. So you could say it's better value for money. This is an extrait de parfum concentration, so it's very strong, really pushes out off the skin, and because of the note breakdown, it's very interesting. This opens up with pineapple, similar to Aventus, really nice, juicy, vibrant pineapple, but this quickly changes to like a kind of green, mossy feel. So you've got oak moss in here, which is, it's quite heavy on the oak moss, so it's very green, and that quickly transitions down to a white musk. So when in the dry down, in the far dry down, you've got this kind of white musk, oak mossy, fresh, clean scent, but it's very, very pleasant to wear. This is going to work really well in all occasions. So this will be your kind of Swiss Army knife niche fragrance where you can wear to the office, to the gym, on date nights, to a party, anywhere. And I'll tell you a quick story. I wore this about a month ago or so to the gym, just because I had it at work, and I went to the gym at lunchtime, and within 10 minutes of me working out, I think 2 or 3 people came up to me like tapped me on the shoulder because I was wearing headphones and asked me what I was wearing, and they said they could smell it throughout the whole gym. It was really projecting, but it was in a really good way, and it smelled really clean and really nice. So a great choice as you're going into niche fragrances. If you want something similar to Aventus but stronger, greener and more interesting, go for this. This is Hacivat by Nishane. These next two are fucking amazing, to be honest, and either one could have been number one. But number two is from a brand called Initio Parfums. This is Oud for Greatness. Now, if you didn't know, Initio and Parfums de Marly are kind of related. They're under the same umbrella in terms of companies. So if you like Parfums de Marly's fragrances, there's a good chance you would like Initio's fragrances and vice versa. Oud for Greatness is a really good entry-level oud fragrance. If you think of something like Tom Ford's Oud Wood as an entry-level oud fragrance, they don't smell anything alike, but what they both have is this oud note. Oud is very challenging in fragrances, especially when it becomes quite prominent, especially when it's used in high doses. It can be really challenging. But Oud for Greatness is a very good choice for an entry-level oud fragrance. This is very interesting. You've got notes of saffron, you've got nutmeg, and you've got oud. So this is going to be a very spicy fragrance, but the oud is really smooth. It's done so well in this that it's not going to be challenging, but yet it remains really strong. And the reason why I would choose this over Oud Wood as your oud fragrance is because it's more interesting. That saffron note and the nutmeg note have this beautiful spice, and it's very captivating, very alluring, and this is going to really get you noticed. So I think Oud for Greatness is a really good entry-level oud fragrance. Now, Oud for Greatness is going to be a very big, attention-grabbing fragrance. You're going to wear this, and if you wear this, people will definitely notice you. It's going to be one of those fragrances that people smell across the room, and you will definitely get people coming up to you asking what you're wearing. So if you're not somebody that wants to be smelt by loads of people when they wear fragrances, this won't be a good choice. But if you're looking for something that's going to cut through the cold air, cut through other fragrances when you're in a big group, I think Oud for Greatness would be a great choice. I wouldn't wear this to the office. I wouldn't wear it to a date because it's just too, if you go on quite heavy on the sprays, it's just going to be too much. But perhaps 1 or 2 sprays on a date would work. But this works best, for me anyway. I always wear this when I'm going out with my friends and everyone's wearing a different fragrance. This really cuts through all of those, and this is the one that will be noticed. So number 2, my fragrances to get into these fragrances, Oud for Greatness. Number 1, this is one of my favourite fragrances of all time. I think this is a magical, wonderful fragrance. It's from a British brand, Roja Parfums. This is Enigma Pour Homme Cologne. It's hard to decipher the notes in this because there are so many, it's so well blended, it's so complex, but I mainly get this kind of cognac, semi-boozy, balsamic, vanilla fragrance. It's really hard, as I said, to decipher those notes because there are so many, and the way Roja has mixed them makes this very complex and really difficult to pick out certain notes. If you've heard rumours that this smells similar to Coca-Cola, then you could certainly make that argument. This doesn't smell like Coca-Cola exactly, but it smells like when you crave having a really cold, ice-cold Coca-Cola and you get that kind of smell when you open the bottle. It's like that. It's this really fizzy, juicy kind of fragrance that you crave, but it's in the best possible way. So when you smell this, it just makes you crave it. I don't know how to put it. It's so intoxicating, it's so delicious, and it's just such a beautiful fragrance. Now, you might be wondering the idea behind Parfum Cologne. This is called Enigma Parfum Cologne. And Roja does a few of these. There's about 5, I think, in the line. And what he's done is he's taken the original Parfum concentration. So you've got the original Enigma Parfum, which is only comes in 50ml. It's really expensive, and he's taken it and changed it to a Parfum Cologne. And what that means is that it acts like a cologne. So when you spray it on, it's going to be really vibrant, really effervescent. It's going to be kind of dancing around, but it performs like an EDP. So it's really kind of almost a new way of creating a fragrance. It's not a cologne, but it acts like a cologne, but performs like an EDP, and I think that is a wonderful idea for a fragrance, because fragrances that perform like colognes are so fun to wear. They're really energetic, they're vibrant, but then they don't last as long. But with the Parfum Cologne, they last like an EDP. Now I do have the Parfum version as well, which is, of course, it's going to be absolutely wonderful, but it's not one I'm going to recommend to you as we're going into niche fragrances. It's a lot more expensive, it's heavier, and it's not as fun to wear. I actually prefer wearing this, even though it's much cheaper. It perhaps doesn't last as long, but it smells almost identical, and it's a lot more fun to wear. I've always said this is going to be a fragrance I'm going to wear at my wedding. Whenever I get married, I'm going to wear either Enigma or Enigma Parfum, but I'll probably wear a mix of both. I hope you enjoyed this list, 7 fragrances to go from designer fragrances into the niche market. Please let me know down in the comments which one you would choose, and also, is there a fragrance I missed? Of course, there's loads of other fragrances I could have included, but I'm really interested to know which one you would wear. Enigma Parfum Cologne is my favourite kind of niche fragrance, and one I'd really recommend to you to get into niche fragrances. Very interesting, and you could learn a lot from the fragrance in terms of the different notes in there, and you could smell something that's going to be really well blended with loads of different notes in. Guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Take care.